Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast from the host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero like defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Crossroads Winter. In the north it is Iroha fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin. Here with the 3rd Guards Tank Corps with Guard Motor Airborne Troops and finally Armored Assault. In the south it is Old Mate fighting for the Oberkommandwest Germany, Deutschland, here with the 23rd Panzerdivision here with special operations featuring radio silence, Sturmoffiziers, infiltration tactics, the Infrasturmgewehr 44 and the Command Panther. And so off to the race over the double Sturmpioneer sword into Kuhwagens. That's definitely not your average Oberkommando start here. Double conscripts meanwhile for Iroha. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patron supporters, champions and heroes, one and all. Without them, this episode and so many others would not be possible. So big thanks to all those. Also very big thanks to Andrew for donating and supporting the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. Other people can join his account by donating via PayPal. Of course, they can pledge by Patreon. Links in the video description. Finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing. Helps me out a bit there as well. So, off to start here. Rations rushing in there with some sandbags in the centre. Up north, their points being seized. Eastwards, they're engaged ground the point here. Sturmpioneer heading eastwards here. Got Western fuel secured plus the surrounding territories here. Kuhwagen following up here for Old Mate and the Red Army. German Army, damn it. German Army. 3rd conscript there for Iroha. Points being seized there. Seized in southern point there. Heading northwards to the Kugelwagen. And we do get Fultons here for Old Mate. Starting to expect he's just going to go like heavy on the Sturmpioneer and then maybe like a Sturmoffizier going for an all-Sturm build. All the Sturm. All the time. Anyways, 2nd unit squad for Iroha. Trip being secure points here. Up north, points being seized there by Old Mate. But again, nice move here. Bases swing up behind the German front line. Catching Old Mate bit off guard here and unprepared for such a sneaky maneuver there. Thumbs up to Iroha. Very well tactically played, and basically surround Old Mate again falls in a bit of a tight spot there. We'll have to see how Old Mate responds to this, and he's got like his 2nd Sturmpioneer squad far down eastwards here. This is honestly with the Kuhwagen. The Sturmpioneers feel like should be closer to each other to support each other better here, but instead they've sort of been spread all across the map here. Kuhwagen then needs to be able to support better, and it's not quite going off well here for Old Mate either. Definitely a bit awkward here for Old Mate and a pretty much an early coup here for Iroha. Highlighting the power of a good maneuver. In the south, both engineers with the single Sturmpioneer squad are definitely not reaping the rewards of that, as they're definitely outgunned. 2nd full squad there for Old Mate. Pursuing the engineers with their Sturmgewehr 44. Or possibly MP44s, MP43s, is basically nomenclature, just naming. Conventions are really determined that one. I guess what year they were made in. Troops moving up here for Old Mate. Constantly looking to block here. Quick laying down sandbags. Thumbs up to Iroha. Certainly a solid start here. Of course, Old Mate is starting to pour in the infantry. Of course, that way can hit back pretty hard. Minesweepers in a clear sign of, the realization that Iroha may start to quickly lay down minesweepers as Old Mate to disrupt his early games. But so far, loads of sandbags here. Got the eastern calf point at least. Then note the barbed wire here from Iroha to make it harder for the Germans to lay down sandbags there. But yeah, thoroughly dug in here, making a head-on assault there rather painful for Old Mate. He's going to have to, basically do what Iroha did and basically flank around there. But of course, whether or not he wants to do that is an entirely different matter at hand. But so far, I think he's realizing he's going to have to move ahead there, probably spot it with the Kugelwagen, the power of reconnaissance. As for Iroha, we got the spawn company up here already. Could soon build the tank into command. But yeah, really strong start here. Bit of flanking in with the Kuhwagen, quickly cutting down Yevgeny, securing the center there. Eastern fuel point almost secured. Definitely helping alleviate the initial Soviet search on the calf point there. Trying to bait them out into the open. So far, that's actually working out surprisingly well for Old Mate. I'm surprised Iroha took the bait on that one. Definitely not the best engagement. The Sturm has been pushed back to the 2 full squads plus. The Kuhwagen here, which at range definitely dominate the conscripts here. And they can't easily close in, so there you go. Push back again. This is where staying in cover was a bit necessary again. At the same time, the way Old Mate was going about, they made it very difficult for Iroha to make use of the cover versus Old Mate. So good flank here by Old Mate. Now pushing ahead here a bit more aggressively. 3rd full squad arriving here. So we got 2 Sturmpioneer squads and 3 full squad leaders plus the Kuhwagen. It's definitely not quite your average Oberkommandwest build. Most Oberkommandwest players typically only go for 1 Sturmpioneer squad ever. Troops reinforcing here. No truck there yet. We'll have to see if we get to the Storm Officer, but I think the Storm Officer would be a good addition. As for Iroha, considering the triple concept of engineers build, this very much looks like Gat Motor, the classic Soviet commander of choice, because it is by far the most efficient commander. Truck on the way there. Probably the Belgrade headquarters if old mate. They could surprise us with a mechanized regiment, but again, considering the resource situation, actually he's dying to turn this around fairly aggressively. He could make it work, but also with all that infantry, a part of me does expect a Belgrade headquarters if old mate and the German army. Laying down mines, thumbs up there. The Schützenmine 42. It was designed to maim rather than kill. Part of some rather, well, cold and rather compassionless mathematics that basically determine that it's actually better to maim someone than to kill them. In terms of just psychological damage, the one surrounding, but also in terms of drawing in resources. Like, you kill someone, that's it, you know. At most, they're going to need a pine box. But, you know, if you just blow the feet off, you know, they're basically still not going to be able to fight, because it's pretty hard to fight without your feet. But also, like, you know, they're still going to be drawing up resources for the nation in question. So, little fun side note there. Well, fun and fun, but you get the idea. Barnhand going in, so the infantry catching that, and they open the Sturmpionier pushing in there with the Sturmgewehr 44. Tearing into them there. No further tech yet here, or sign of commander failure for that matter, but we are likely looking at the T-70 Belgrade headquarters at the fold, make back in his base with the T-70. You may have to consider like a bunch of Panzerschrecks on the Sturmpionier to help offset the possible T-70 is going to be thrown at him. Storm is though a good idea, but he's probably going to get the Raketner for though. MD-34, not a bad idea either, but I think also highlights here that old mate is not going to be going for the flak half track. Instead, he will be planning to rush ahead for the Schwerer Panzer quarters. Like, if you've seen Oberkummer's player going for the MD-34, they're probably not going to go for the flak half track, unless, of course, you've seen that before, in which case they're obviously gone for it. But if you've seen them going for the MD-34 before the flak half track, there's a very good chance they can be pushing ahead for the next tier instead. Guardsman out of Iroha, again, got motor. Very much by far the most efficient third commander, simply because it offers like a bunch of very good units and just very little like additional overhead management. Like, you don't need to like time your abilities or anything. It's just call in very good units for the most part. You know, guardsmen, heavy mortars, T-35s, get himself repaired, some marked vehicle. It's just very, very straightforward, which is also like a very powerful asset to have in a commander. Back here, Kuban fixed up there for old mate. Mason sort of holding about there. Going ahead with the MG-34. These guardsmen advancing in the centre here. We got the DP light machines with their Theodore has men. In this case, very likely the DP-27, though there was also the DPM, which is a slightly improved version of that light machine gun. T-10 light tank there for Iroha, light infantry Geschütz 18 there for old mate. For some light artillery support there, was a good idea though. Again, I feel like considering the map and the timings, he really needs a Raketner first though. Like, he should be expecting the T-70. And at the very least should have gone for at least, you know, a Panzerschreck. But even like 2 Panzerschrecks in the Sturmpanics could certainly provide him with some significant deterrence for the T-70. It's obviously not like immediately stop it, but it might compel Iroha to be slightly less aggressive with it. But so far, we'll continue maintaining fairly good map versus old mate for the most part. We got the heavy mortars one off Iroha. A strong addition there to, of course, these any Soviet players' arsenal. And old mate, they're executing the wounded. Got the heavy mortar then moving forwards. Truck on the way there, so yeah. Basically, a plan to rush ahead there in tech. Move for the Schwer Panzer quarters, get out the Panzers fast as Iroha. Very sensible, I would say, strategic move there. Very sensible. I mean, again, the flak half tech is also very sensible. That's the reason it's so popular as well, but at the same time, there is absolutely, you know, no reason also not also just push ahead. At least no argument against it. Particularly got like fairly good map control there. We do get like an old mate, no Panzerschrecks, so yeah, assault rifles instead there. Lance gun, they're firing away. 1 kill so far. Any more to the Reddit. Fun fact, the light infantry just like seemed active fall out of favour in the German army as they adopted the 120mm mortars. It kind of did the same thing, but better. And I believe it was also easy to produce, honestly. There you go, quick merge with the engineers there, but there you go, great hit from the artillery there. Pretty much compelling you how they're to retreat. You already got veterans who won there. Not so much by killing, just by dealing an incredible amount of damage. Pushing for the car point, even as either old mate's being bogged down to the centre. He's not hitting his opponent's fuel point either, so always a thing to be, aware of as a player. Like, they tend to sometimes get dragged into the centre of the map despite none of the resources really being there. And resources do matter a lot, in particular fuel. Both in terms, of course, getting your own tanks out, but also in denying your opponent the ability to get out their tanks faster. Or at all. South the Kuhlwagen Sturmpioniers, the counter squad here. Forcing retreat here, very good there for Old Mate. Guards routed. Sadly, no sign of the Sturmoffizier for Old Mate, but we do get the... Oh, he cancelled the truck. He cancelled the Schwere Wehrmachtschlepper. Ha. Okay, now he goes for it again. Must have been a misclick or a brain fart. No sign of anything further here for Iroha as of yet, except more pain in the general direction of Old Mate. Conscripts falling back. Sturmpionier heading eastwards. Truck setting out. And there we go, we do get some Panzerschrecks here for Old Mate, the Raketenpanzerbüchse. Bit of a standoff there in the west. The map currently shows, say, roughly split 50-50 between the two sides. Very roughly split 50-50. Bit of a standoff here again as neither side is really committing to like any major assaults. Iroha's probably trying to suss out what his opponent might be up to while he's building up for tanks, and of course Old Mate is also pushing for his own tanks. Feel like more pressure on the side, west or east side would be better, but again he feels, again it does look like, I was trying to not feel, but looks like he's trying to sort of like, again focus heavily on the centre here versus Iroha. Which of course if Iroha can defend, he just fairly successfully can then tie up a lot of forces here from Old Mate. At a possibly low cost, but at the same time now pushing in more in the south here. Old Mate is slowly being drawn into that, moving away from the centre. That said, I think there's a fairly decent chance here. Yeah, Old Mate's going to be able to push out a tank here faster than Iroha, which is certainly a potential advantage here for the Germans, but does require here, presses the button and gets going fairly soon. Good hit from the Kevin the T-Sman light tank, punches through cleanly. Old Mate there finally got the off position underway. In fact, he's pretty much got the resources, or at least will have the resources for the Panther 4 Model J as soon as it's done. East side here, more troops moving in the theatre to envelop the centre, push back their Old Mate. And you fit for a run on the west side, then you need round by the Kuhlwagen Schwere Panzer Quarters combo. And there you go, can go for that Panther 4 and definitely should go for that Panther 4. There should be no hesitation here from Old Mate on that one. Get that Panzerkampfwagen 4, mein Herr. There we go. Panther 4 Model J, up north the Kuhlwagen sees northern victory point away from the Soviets. Even as Iroha keeps up the attack, they're having successfully cleared the centre. He tries to rely on the momentum, of course he should be able to have the Schwer Panzer quarters, which he will need something a bit heavier to deal with than what he currently has access to. Though he has quite a bit of manpower. Field gun here would be a pretty good addition. In fact, I'm surprised we haven't seen a field gun here from Iroha at all. It tends to be very much a standard part of any player's arsenal because it is incredibly efficient for an anti-tank gun. To the far there, landing close to the conscripts, but falling a bit off. Could of course go for the T-34 some 6, but T-35 makes a lot more sense, but It does make sense we're floating almost 900 manpower right now. Kubak up. Good kill there for Iroha. Slightly immobilizes his old mate, leaves him less mobile in terms of capturing and harassing. But now, he does have the Panther 4 out. He can't capture, he can't harass, but he can murder Iroha's stuff quite efficiently. He does go for the field gun now, perhaps realizing he needs it. Certainly not too late to go for that now. None too late. Does of course help. He does have the bulletin for like faster anti-tank and production here, so not too much of a delay there from in the end. Panther 4 striking in use with a 7mm gun, and of course it's numerous machine guns. A Panther 4 would have a total of 3 machine guns: the whole machine gun, the coaxial machine, of course the pinlock machine gun. Fun fact there. He's been called here, full swing up there as well. In the east here, routed as Iroha dispatches a small counterattack force here. In the northwest, old mate's assault continues here with the Panther 4 and infantry in tow here. Pushing back against Iroha, who's moving in a field gun to try and stop this advance, or at least remove the panzer element from it. Oh, shot bounce, that was very lucky there for old mate, considering that was kind of side rear armor. Which definitely would have been much weaker here to a field gun shot. Center being seized here. Nothing further going there for old mate. T-35 here for Iroha, very much as expected as well here versus old mate. He could consider like a second guard squad honestly here versus old mate. I think that could be fairly powerful. Just more, you know, fairly elite infantry that can push it on old mate's troops. And even the tank here. Guardsmen being mauled here, dropping weapons and dropping lives. MU-34 wiped. Good kill there for Iroha's heavy mortar. Up north, Sturm Pioneer there. Ooh, concussive grenades was the engineers. Panther 4 continues to dodge most of the damage here. The south troops getting ready for the next big push. Surprised we're not seeing a Storm Officer. Again, I know a lot of people don't bother with it, but at the same time, like if you're going to go for Spec Ops, you really should go for them. We haven't even like seen any grenade assaults either. And I think they're both like, you know, fairly powerful elements. But again, unlike say the heavy mortar, the guardsmen, they do quite a bit more effort. T-35 here pursuing the Panther 4 there with its 85mm gun. He was those known as the CIS-5 gun. Definitely looking a bit bad here for the Panther 4. Decent hit there from the line gun on the T-35. Need some troops in there. We've got the Sturm Pioneer arriving. No Panther check on those. Line gun in trouble. T-70 going at it. Sturm Pioneering up with their Panther check. Shot bounce. That is really lucky for the Panther 4 there. Panther moving up there. Panther 5's T-35 almost being knocked out. Close to dying out there. Shot bounce. Field bombarding. Close call there. And gets the T-35 field gun there bombarding. That was really lucky for old mate there, to be honest. Really lucky. That many bounces or misses against the Panther 4 in particular, and that is very lucky. Not impossibly so there, but obviously, but you know, still fairly lucky. And there you go, the finish off an anti-tank grenade, but still T-35 for Panther 4 all day. Close one there, close one, honestly. I mean, Iroha still kind of gets ahead on that because the T-35 is actually slightly cheaper than the Panther 4 model. Yay. Panther 4 on the way there. Old man needs to like hit back harder, hit Iroha's infantry. We got the line gun there with 3 kills, but it's close to veteran 3 as well. Got 8 kills on the heavy mortar though, and it's close to veteran 2. And you feel for they're being held forwards here by old mate's men. We got the guards repositioning a bit here. Heavy mortar sitting up there in the snow. Gotta be careful you don't get stuck to the mortar tube in these temperatures. Panther 4, they're almost done for old mate. Southern point C's got the carve point. Panther 4 right around the corner, there we go. Old mate with the second Panther 4. We'll have to see what Iroha follows up with next, but I'm expecting more T-35s here versus Old Mate, but Old Mate needs to like fight back hard, because he needs to get some of those victory points back. But it looks like he's intending for another major assault here, and looks like he's not just intending a major assault anywhere, but on the center. We'll have to see how this works. Up to there, Iroha's already dug in some units in the building, concentrating heavy cover as well there, right about themselves. That said, it's not like a heavily concentrated defense here, so Old Mate is able to break through there and rout Iroha, but he still needs to, like, gain ground elsewhere too. Grabbing the anti-tank rifles there on the Sturmpionier. That seems a bit of a downgrade, to be honest with me. I've noticed it's not like he's denying it to his opponent, because Iroha doesn't want it either. So yeah, that feels like a downgrade there by Old Mate over the assault rifle on the Sturmpionier. T-35 number 2, the halfway done here for Iroha and the Red Army. Volker Sturmpionier is the constant outside of Iroha's base. Panzerschreck flies, whiffs. Panther 4 being fixed up here. Some orbital dart and a Sturmpionier squad could be good at here. Maybe like a second light infantry gun from Old Mate, to be honest. Like just more light artillery could also pressure Iroha a bit here. Or another MD-34. There's several options here for Old Mate to consider, but I do think he needs to consider something there. Nemo falling a bit back further on the west here. Again, he needs those victory points. We've got to secure the center one there, even as to make a breakthrough there. Seems like Old Mate slightly overplayed his hand there in some ways. But there you go. T-35 flanking the Panther 4. He needs to get to safety now. And there you go. Ooh-raring. We've got marked target here. Iroha on the hunt here for the second Panther 4 shot. Misses. Panther 4 though does not miss. In the center there, German infantry being quickly outmaneuvered here. Sturmpionier not equipped with a Panzerschreck. Okay, another raid now to support the Panther 4. And there goes several good hits there on the T-35. Almost got it, but still need to be careful not to push his luck with that Panther 4. Or Old Mate could find himself in a really, really bad place. And I'm not talking Stalingrad. Troops sitting out there for Old Mate. Can't go around it. To the fire raining off. Another academy of the Old Mate. Still advancing the centre here again. Fresh push there from Old Mate. Could use the line gun to at least provide some smoke screens here to make it again harder for Iroha to coordinate an effective defense, but he's just going all in there aggressively. Raketen efforts, Panzerschrecks, Panther fast. He's looking to take out the T-35 here. That is a hard push here by Old Mate. Need to be careful. And there you go. Anti-tank guns tearing into the Panther 4. Infantry's not quite able to keep up pace there. Almost got the transport there. Panther 4 knocked out. Need to finish off that T-35 fast. It's not quite working out there. We got a flamethrower drop. No one's picking it up. There's Sturmpionier being mauled. And does get the T-35 here. But I don't think that was a particularly great trade-off there for Old Mate. But he did some damage. I'm surprised that no one picking up that flamethrower here versus Iroha. Pushing east was there as well. MG-34 did not support the main engagement. That could have helped a bit, make it hard again for Iroha to defend. Okay, if he needs to retreat before he hands it over to Iroha, that would be fairly catastrophic for Old Mate, to be honest. Trick reinforcing healing. He's able, I think, go for another Panther 4 here before again Iroha goes over the T-35. But if he just keeps like trading tanks one for one, he's never going to get far ahead. And similarly, Iroha needs to stop trading tanks one for one. In this case, it's more Old Mate doing it than Iroha in a sense. Bit of fierce fighting around the centre between Old Mate and Iroha. Eastern point secured there by the MD-34 on Old Mate's command. Trick reinforcing healing here. Concussor grenade allowing the Sturmpioniers to fall back a bit safely there. We got 150-58. Heavy mortar there with 9 kills, virtually 2. And Old Mate has to feel he just needs the manpower now to go for that third Panther 4 model day here. Sandbags up there. Field guns playing forwards here. Sturmpionier close to Retinue 4. Grabbing the point here. T-35 in the end for Iroha. Because Old Mate had more fuel and technically could have gone out faster. Manpower wise, he was actually struggling, whereas Iroha, not so much. Good hit. Again, the line gun is like a really good piece of light artillery here in the Oberkommandwest arsenal. And kind of can beat up most mortars. Except for the heavy mortar. In the hands of a good plane. Sorry about the hiccups. Occasionally get those. Sturmpionier catching the counter of the Western munitions point and victory point there. We got 146 versus 350. MD34 there, very far behind here. If you could just grab these munitions at the very least, they'll cover the point. Yeah, he's committing more force ahead on the sort of trying, to flank up behind him, maybe catch it a half guard there. Van hand guard there, and crucially, not a single infiltration grenade assault either. Despite, being cheaper than the incendiary grenades and more explosive. Good hit there. MD34 finally moved. Got the T-35 that moved. We also got the Panther 4 number 3 on the way there. And Iroha is actually going for a regular mortar here instead of another heavy mortar. That's an interesting choice there. I'm guessing he just went for the regular mortar because it's cheaper, I guess. MD34 wiped. Quite a blow there to Old Mate. Of course, now means not only is the Eastern victory point open, he could have actually grabbed him. I'm surprised he destroyed him instead of grabbing it there. Again, 6-man MD34 is not exactly bad either. Sandbags down the center there for Iroha. Back here, reinforcing healing. Got that T-35 move here for the Red Army. Moving towards the center. And again, you can see he's really expecting Old Mate to make an assault in the center because, again, that's largely what Old Mate keeps doing. He over-focuses on the center here, which makes it much easier for Iroha to predict his movements and then set up a counter for it. Samex down there, of course, which makes it also harder for Old Mate to just push ahead there. He's at least this time pushing for the east, slightly outmaneuvering Iroha there. That's something. Quick retreat here, of course, from Iroha, not wishing to sacrifice infantry needlessly here versus the German army. T-35 field gets moving westwards. Schwer Panzerquarters under fire from the double field guns and the T-35 line for gun. It's very close to Retinue 4, but ultimately not able to stop this. And Old Mate is responding very slow. Now got the assault there in swing, but it feels much more forced. Again, like, he's responding to the assault in the Schwer Panzerquarters, which causes this assault to be a bit more desperate and a bit, I think, more loose in its execution. And for example, there you go, the Panther 4 just dives in there with insufficient info support, that where the foot gun is, and, nothing to support, like for example some grenade assault. In fact, we can see another Ked being rushed in. Like, Old Mate is definitely slightly, going off the cuff here, and he's not handling it quite as well as he'd like to. He's definitely not a great improviser. And the imp support is also lacking. The foot again not moving in. I mean, and I feel like he just popped in. We actually did get one grenade assault, and we actually see some casualties being inflicted on Iroha now, but Old Mate just ends up paying a much higher price. Like, had he again just had the infantry keep better pace and, pop some grenade assaults to the right places more consistently, I think Iroha would have been a much worse spot here versus Old Mate. But again, because the slightly improvised nature of the assault, or erratic nature. Oh, he lost the Sturmpioneers too. Again, the assault didn't quite work out full, but still, he did do some damage, but he failed to get that T-35 here, which is probably like the biggest issue right now for Old Mate. Particularly since it allows you to then build up more tanks, at which point Old Mate's situation just starts to get a lot worse. Plus, he's still a bit behind in victory points versus Iroha as well, so there's a lot of challenges here for Old Mate. A lot of them. But yeah, he at least used one infiltration grenade assault, in fact, which is so far the only time he's used the commander entirely. Like, we haven't seen again the officer, we haven't seen his radio silence, we haven't seen the infantry Sturmgets because of the Obersoldaten, and we certainly haven't seen the command Panther either. There we go, happy to exchange the cannon for the field gun. You can see the Old Mate, of course, trying to hold back the field gun in the face of Iroha's harassers and raiders. Line gun there with 10 kills, Retinue 4. 11 kills on the Serpent Mortar, halfway to 23. Beinhand Grenade. Still cooldown on that one unit's Grenade Assault. Need to shoot the Fulton Grenadiers though before they get wiped out, but I think they are fairly heavy loss here for Ultimate at this point in the fight. We've lost a squad there. Fixing up the Sheriff 100 quarters. We've got 69 as a 350 here. Pantherfall's almost done. A fresh push here by Ultimate. Decent line of gun hit here again. We got 13 kills. I mean, the line of gun is definitely doing its part here for the German army, and that is for sure. Field of Court here. T-Fed following 40 is going to deliver, I think, a crushing blow here to the Sheriff 100 quarters. First Pantherfall out here. Iroha's not far from another. T-35 being called in, at which point, if he gets two, odds for Ultimate get a lot worse. And he's just charging in there again, like he's just starting to get a bit frantic here. And I would say he's not quite considering his attacks there fully. He's just diving in there, hoping to unseat his opponent's state. He ends up losing the Pantherfall pretty rapidly because he gets bogged down easily here and then shot to pieces. So definitely a poorly executed attack of the Ultimate. Again, the pressure I think is getting to him. Like he's desperately looking to, like, you know, somehow break Iroha. Well, he's turned the tide and is causing him, I think, to make some rather, well, strategically and tactically unhealthy decisions. So I think at this point he has lost. It feels like he's just given up here. We're just waiting for the game to, like, react to it. Because again, if you don't surrender with a surrender command and you just say leave the game, again, for some reason the game doesn't quite register it right away. So there you go. GG game over there. A loss for Ultimate. A victory for Iroha. Some back and forth fighting here from Ultimate. But again, slight tendency, I think, to focus on the center there. Didn't quite utilize the commander, if at all, like just one infiltration tactic. Again, I have to say, this part, like, this ability is really, really good. I feel like people are sleeping on this, but also just not using the officer or radio silence. I feel like there's some issues there with Ultimate's strategy overall than using the commander. Unfortunately, I think, again, that just coordinates attacks better as well there. He also has a better chance there. But, you know, I think there's still some nice elements here and there. So, hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.